Hi everyone, welcome back to Discover and Learn. If we want to learn anything, if we want to add a new skill or learn a new language or learn a new technology, what we do, or rather what should we do to achieve our goal? What is our goal? Our goal is to learn a new language or to learn a new skill or to learn a new technology. Okay, now in order to achieve this, we have to come up with a plan, a schedule, a routine, right? How do we achieve it? So in order to come up with a study plan or a study routine, we need to consider a lot of things, right? So guys, today in this session, I'm going to take up this topic of how to come up with a study routine or a study plan in order to learn to speak English fluently and confidently, or learn a new language. And you can apply it to different things. Like I said, learning a new skill, learning a new technology, learning a new subject, etc. Whatever you wish to. Okay, so this will be entirely for everything and you can apply it anywhere. So guys, on that note, welcome back to my channel. I am your communications coach and a soft skill trainer by profession. And I'm here to help you out with all your communications problems and to help you speak English fluently and confidently. But if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, quickly subscribe my channel, like and share my videos, do write your comments in the comment section, and do not forget to press the notification icon so that you get all my videos on time, free of cost, and access to all the amazing content on this channel. What you have to do is stay tuned, stay connected, and watch my entire video to master this skill. So let's get back to the topic now. Today's topic is very simple. I am going to give you a lot of inputs on how you can come up with a robust study plan or a study routine in order to achieve your goal of learning a new language or learning a new skill or learning any new technology, anything, whatever you wish to do. Okay, so what things we need to keep in mind, how to go about it, right? We just decide that I have to learn this language doesn't mean that we are going to do it. When we decide that we have to learn a new skill or a new language or a new subject or technology, the struggle begins, or rather the challenge starts. And then you have to start thinking about how to go about it. What you need to do to achieve that goal of learning that skill or language, right? For example, I'm going to take here how to learn to speak English fluently and confidently. Okay, now there are lots of things you can do, right? You have to learn a lot of words, you have to learn a lot of grammar, you have to learn a lot of sentences, you have to gain knowledge on a lot of topics, you have to learn how to speak, you have to practice English speaking, etc. So there are lots of things you have to do. Right? But you should know what is your priority and what you should get started with. Right? For example, if you're a beginner and you're asked to speak on any topic like environment or climate change, will you be able to speak? No. Right? So that is what I want to tell you here. That if you're a beginner, you have what you should do. If you are an intermediate, what you should do, and when you are in advanced stage, what you should do. Okay, so the first and the foremost thing we have to take care of is we have to understand which stage we are in. How do we start? Where should we start from? Okay, if you don't know how to make sentences, if you don't know you don't know words, you don't know what certain things or items mean in English or what is their English name, which means you are a beginner. Okay, so you know you are a beginner now. How do you proceed from there? If you are able to make sentences but you're not very fluent and confident in speaking in English and you kind of, struggle to speak in front of people but you're okay with speaking in front of the mirror or at home alone, which means you are in intermediate stage. Okay, and likewise in advanced stage. Okay, so we have to first make sure which stage we are in. We have to figure out which stage we are in, whether we are a beginner or intermediate or an advanced stage. Now, once you have figured out which stage you are in, the next thing is you should know what you should include in your daily routine. How much time you should give, what should be there in your daily routine, what you have to work on, like activities, exercises, techniques, and frameworks you need to work on. Okay, so basically, I want to talk about you have to set up a system to achieve your goals, right? You have to break down the big thing, like your goal to learn to speak English fluently and confidently. You have to break it down into steps. What you need to reach that goal. What are the steps you need to reach to that goal, right? Like steps maybe vocabulary, grammar, sentence construction, storytelling, having a conversation, etc. Right? There are lot many things which you can include in building up that system to achieve that goal. Okay, so this is what you need to figure out first. What all materials or building blocks you need to take care of or you need to work on to achieve that goal of becoming fluent and confident in speaking in English. Okay, so we have to figure it out. Like I said, the first one will be vocabulary, next might be grammar, another might be sentence construction, conversation practice, etc. Right? Now we should take each step. The next one is we should take each step and we should figure out how we are going to achieve this. We have to further break it down now. Okay, for example, let's say vocabulary is something which we have figured out. Like now I have to start working on vocabulary. How do we work on vocabulary or how do we achieve to build our vocabulary is important, right? So we have to break it down further. Like we can ask Google or any AI tool that how many words are required to speak decent Indian English, and you'll get a list of words, or you'll get like 2000 to 3000 words are required. Okay, and you'll get some words also, like examples of words which will be an eye opener for you, or which will be an example or a sample for you, which will help you to further achieve that goal of building your vocabulary. Okay, so this is how we have to break it down. Okay, how to build our vocabulary. So first we should know in our everyday English speaking how many words are important or how many words we should know to speak decent English or Indian English. And once you get those words, it will be much easier for you to start working on it, right? Next is you can start working on vocabulary by listening, by watching, by reading also. When you're reading a book, you get a lot of words. You can check their meaning and you can just try to use it in your context. So there are lots of techniques, frameworks and methods or activities or exercises which you can include in your vocabulary practice. Okay, so you can include reading, you can include listening, and you can include watching, right? And whenever you get a new word, you can just take down, check its meaning, use it in your own context or sentences and note it down somewhere so that you can revise it also again. Okay, so in this way, when you will start working on the vocabulary, it will be much easier for you to achieve that goal of building your vocabulary. So what are the steps? The steps of achieving vocabulary is you have to practice reading, you have to practice listening, you have to practice watching. Okay, and when you're doing all these things, you have to note down the words, you have to note down its meaning, you have to use it in your own sentences and you have to note it down as well so that you can revise it again. Okay, and the best thing you can do is you can focus more on listening also. If you want to know more words about day-to-day conversation or day-to-day English speaking, when you will listen to people on podcast or any interview or any chat show or a talk show, etc., you will hear only conversational English. So the words will be very commonly used in conversations. So it will be much easier for you to build your vocabulary so that you can use it, okay, in your own conversations. So those will be everyday used vocabulary. So these are the ways you can collect or build your vocabulary, enhance your vocabulary in English. Okay, so this is how you have to break down everything. Now we can take grammar next. What do we do in grammar? Basic thing which I always tell you is just know what parts of speeches are there. Learn parts of speech, and that is going to help you a lot. Tenses, parts of speech and tenses. These two things are that you need to focus on as a beginner or in intermediate stage. Okay, so start learning a bit of grammar as well along with your practice sessions. So when you start combining all these things, it will be much easier for you to achieve that goal of speaking English fluently and confidently. So grammar, you have to break it down into parts of speech and tenses. Take each one each day, right? And then start learning it. It's not difficult at all, guys. Now, next might be pronunciation also. How do we achieve that? Right? Reading. Read it out loud. Use AIs to help you with pronunciation. Use Google to help you out with pronunciation. Right? Listening practice. Be an active listener. Listen for 10 minutes every day. Focus on each word, how it is pronounced. Shadowing exercise is very good to help you with pronunciation practice as well. Start doing that. So guys, these are the steps you break down pronunciation as a topic. Okay, what you can do under pronunciation or how to achieve your pronunciation, right? So these are the steps you have to take care of. So when you're coming up with a study plan, you have to break down every single thing into small steps. How you're going to achieve that. And once you have come up with the steps, once you know how to achieve that thing, it will be much easier for you to start working on it. Okay, so, and you know what to focus on also. Every single word you don't need help with pronunciation, right? Or it's not necessary that you don't know every single word which is in English. You know a lot of words, right? Like 10%, 20% you don't know, which you need to look at in the dictionary, right? So you know what to focus on, right? So that is why we need to be selective in our approach. There's a big goal to achieve, which is achieving fluency and confidence in speaking in English. Then we have broken it down into different processes, right? Like vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, conversation practice, etc. Now, these processes, we need to break it down into steps, right? Like for vocabulary, how do you achieve your vocabulary? By listening, reading, looking up in the dictionary, taking a note of the word, using it in your own sentences, revising it again. So these are the steps which you need to take care of or follow in order to achieve that thing, that process, right? Or master that process. Okay, so in the same way, you have to break everything down into steps. And once you know the steps, you have to be selective in your approach. Which step works for you, right? There are different techniques to remember words, there are different techniques for pronunciation, there are different techniques for speaking English, right? Practicing English speaking. But what works for you is important. So you have to try every single thing and come up with a conclusion that this is something which works for me and this is something which I'm going to do to achieve this goal or to achieve this step or to master this process. Okay, so you have to be selective in your approach then. What works for you, you have to focus on that. Okay, and once you know that this process, this technique or this method or this activity or this exercise or this framework works for me the best, I am going to follow that to achieve that process and to achieve that goal ultimately of speaking English fluently and confidently. So you have to start thinking in this way, guys. You have to break it down into process, then steps, and then you have to be selective in your approach about what technique, method, activity, exercise or framework you need to follow, which will help you to achieve the goal or to master that task or to master that process. Okay, so this is how you have to come up with a study routine or a plan. And this is not the end, guys. After this, once you're done with this, once you know what is your focus area, what is that thing which is helping you, and you have to start working on that, you have to see if it is giving you results or not. So at intervals, you have to introspect. You have to check whether this is working or not. Right? You have to see whether there's an improvement or not in your speech, in your fluency. If your fluency in speech is not improving, if your conversational skills or communication skills are not improving, you need to change your plan. You need to change your focus. You need to change the steps or techniques or tips, tricks, activities, whatever you're doing. Right? So this is a continuous process, guys. You have to keep on improving your process and keep on improving your skills as well, whether it is communication skills or technical skills or any other skill which you want to add on. Okay, so guys, this is how you can come up with a robust study plan or a routine so as to start speaking in English or learning a new skill or a new language or anything else. Right? You have to break it down, and I'm very sure this is actually going to help you a lot. So guys, that's it for today. I'll see you in my next session. Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, keep watching and keep exploring. See you. Bye-bye and take care.